On November 20, 1943, at 6:23 a.m. on Red Beach 2, Betio Island, Tarawa Atoll, the sand erupted in a pattern that Japanese defenders had never witnessed before. Perfectly spaced geysers of sand walked directly toward their concealed positions, each impact arriving with mechanical precision. Through the firing slit of a palm log bunker, Japanese naval infantry watched as Marine First Lieutenant William Dean Hawkins crawled forward with what looked like an oversized rifle. The Japanese defensive manual stated that American troops relied on mass rifle fire and that their individual weapons were inferior to the spiritual power of a bayonet charge. Yet this single Marine officer with his peculiar weapon was about to demonstrate why the entire tactical doctrine of the Imperial Japanese Army was fatally obsolete. The weapon was the Browning Automatic Rifle, or the BAR. It weighed 19 pounds unloaded and could fire .30-06 Springfield rounds at a slow rate of 300 to 450 rounds per minute, or a fast rate of 500 to 650 rounds per minute. Each 20-round magazine could be emptied in under 3 seconds on the fast setting. What happened next, the collision between a military culture that glorified spiritual power and an industrial democracy that had mechanized the act of killing, would be repeated across 1,000 Pacific islands. The BAR was more than just a rifle. It was American mass production principles applied directly to infantry warfare. Courage alone meant nothing against automatic firepower delivered with industrial efficiency. Just 20 minutes after Hawkins began his assault, his scout sniper platoon had cleared 3 Japanese strongpoints using concentrated BAR fire, marking the opening demonstration of the Battle for Tarawa. The Imperial Japanese Army entered the Pacific War with tactical doctrines frozen in their victories against China and Russia. Their 1909 infantry manual, still in use in 1943, devoted 17 pages to spiritual power or seishin and bayonet fighting, but only 2 paragraphs to automatic weapons. They believed that the Bushido code and sufficient motivation could overcome any enemy through will alone, a principle that was institutionalized military science. While the Japanese had their own light machine guns, such as the Type 96 and Type 99, these were distributed at a rate of only 2 or 3 per company and were treated as specialized support weapons. The concept of giving every squad multiple automatic rifles, making firepower the basis of infantry tactics rather than valor, was completely incomprehensible to Japanese military thinking. This fatal misunderstanding meant that on island after island, American infantry squads possessed more automatic firepower than entire Japanese platoons. The BAR, produced at extraordinary rates, became the symbol of this disparity and the democratization of firepower. Designed by John Browning in 1917, the BAR was mass-produced in quantities that defied Japanese comprehension, giving ordinary American infantrymen firepower previously reserved for crew-served weapons. By November 1943, American factories were performing production miracles. The New England Small Arms Corporation manufactured approximately 168,380 BARs during the war. Even IBM, a company the Japanese knew only for business machines, produced 20,000 BARs after retooling its factories. Additional manufacturers contributed to a total wartime production of approximately 350,000 BARs. These numbers were incomprehensible to a Japanese military that hand-fitted each Type 96 machine gun in workshops where craftsmen spent weeks on single weapons. The weapon specifications were only part of the story. What made it revolutionary was its employment doctrine. By 1943, every Marine rifle squad had 3 BARs, and every Army squad had at least 1. This meant American small units had organic automatic firepower that could be used instantly without waiting for machine gun teams to set up. The first major American offensive at Guadalcanal provided the Japanese their initial, devastating glimpse of what they faced. At the Battle of the Tanaru, actually the Ilu River, on August 21, 1942, Colonel Kiyonao Ichiki led 917 men in a night assault, expecting to overrun the Americans through spiritual superiority in hand-to-hand combat. Instead, they ran into interlocking fields of automatic weapons fire, including the 12 BARs positioned throughout the Marine line. The mathematics were brutal. A Japanese rifle squad of 13 could theoretically fire 65 aimed rounds per minute with their bolt-action rifles, but a Marine squad with 3 BARs could deliver 150 rounds in the first 4 seconds of contact. Only 128 survivors remain from Ichiki's force. The Japanese response to this overwhelming firepower was to go underground, building elaborate cave systems by late 1943. These were complex underground fortresses they considered impregnable. The BAR changed this calculation entirely. The technique that evolved for cave clearing became a standard Marine procedure. Position the BAR gunner 25 yards from the entrance, fire one full 20-round magazine into the cave opening in a figure-8 pattern, and maintain continuous fire. The .30-06 round maintained lethal velocity through multiple ricochets in the enclosed spaces. A single burst created what Marines called a hornet's nest effect, with bullets ricocheting off walls, ceiling, and floor in unpredictable patterns that made survival inside impossible. Japanese soldiers discovered that death arrived before they could even see their enemy. By the time of the Saipan invasion on June 15, 1944, Japanese Lieutenant General Yoshitsugu Saito had studied previous battles, but was still unprepared for the sheer weight of American automatic firepower.
Marine doctrine had evolved to maximize the BAR's employment. The official ratio was now 1 BAR for every 4 Marines, and unofficially, some squads operated with 5 or 6, essentially turning them into mobile automatic weapons platforms. The numbers from Saipan were staggering. The 2nd Marine Division alone fired 8.7 million rounds of 30-06 ammunition in 3 weeks. The Japanese, expecting to trade lives favorably, instead faced a mathematical reality. American industrial production could provide more bullets than Japan could provide soldiers. The BAR's impact extended to the psychological destruction of Japanese military confidence. The weapon's distinctive, rapid thudding sound, different from machine guns, announced that overwhelming, mobile automatic firepower was close and hunting. This psychological terror was multiplied by the American fire discipline, short, controlled bursts that maximized accuracy. By mid-1944, captured Japanese documents revealed that soldiers were being instructed to prioritize killing the BAR gunners, recognizing them as the backbone of American small unit tactics, an almost impossible task due to the weapon's constant movement and proliferation. The final battles, Iwo Jima and Okinawa, demonstrated the complete supremacy of American automatic weapons. On Iwo Jima, General Tadamichi Kuribayashi had adapted every possible countertactic, developing an elaborate 11-mile-long tunnel defense. But the BAR had evolved too. BAR up front became standard doctrine, with the automatic riflemen leading advances to suppress positions while riflemen maneuvered. The weapon, which was primarily defensive in World War I, became the offensive spearhead in the Pacific. Of the approximately 21,000 Japanese defenders on Iwo Jima, only 1,083 were captured. Many of the rest died, sealed in caves by BAR fire. Marines fired an estimated 12 million rounds of small arms ammunition in 36 days. By Okinawa, American industrial mobilization was at its peak. The U.S. military had produced over 300,000 BARs. Some U.S. units had abandoned official organization, operating with 1 BAR for every 2 or 3 soldiers, as survival meant firepower, and firepower meant the BAR. The Shuri Line, the main Japanese defense, fell not to a massive assault, but to the methodical application of automatic weapons fire, clearing cave after cave. The disparity was not just quantitative but qualitative. The Japanese Type 96 and Type 99 light machine guns required two-man crews, weighed more, and suffered from manufacturing inconsistencies. Japan's craft-based production in small workshops could not achieve the mechanical precision and tolerances necessary for reliable automatic weapons. American mass production produced better weapons faster. The BAR's superior metallurgy, including chrome molybdenum steel barrels, allowed for sustained fire without warping, unlike the inferior steel used in Japanese weapons. The BAR transformed marksmanship, allowing automatic riflemen to walk fire onto targets, processing an entire hillside in one magazine, and forcing hidden Japanese soldiers to reveal themselves or die in place. The concept of area denial through firepower was a fundamental shift the Japanese never successfully countered. The BAR's effectiveness was entirely dependent on American logistical supremacy. A single Marine rifle squad could carry 2,000 rounds of BAR ammunition in addition to rifle rounds. The U.S. produced approximately 47 billion rounds of small arms ammunition of all types during World War II, ensuring American forces never lacked ammunition. At Okinawa, the U.S. 10th Army fired an estimated 60 million rounds of small arms ammunition in 82 days. Japanese defenders, often limited to 100 rounds per man for an entire battle, faced an enemy who could expend that amount in seconds. The BAR embodied a fundamentally different conception of warfare. Japanese military culture valued spiritual power, honor, and individual combat, treating their rifles as sacred objects. American military culture, rooted in industrial democracy, valued firepower, efficiency, and mechanical advantage, treating the BAR as a reliable, replaceable tool. This cultural difference extended to training. A standard BAR training course required each Marine to fire at least 2,000 rounds and learn instinctive shooting and rapid magazine changes, an investment possible only because of American industrial capacity. Japanese soldiers often entered combat having fired fewer than 100 rounds in training. In the entire Pacific War, Japanese forces killed approximately 111,000 Americans while losing 2.3 million of their own, a ratio exceeding 20 to 1. While the atomic bombs accelerated surrender, weapons like the BAR had already guaranteed Japan's defeat by demonstrating that industrial capacity trumps warrior spirit. Post-war, Japanese officers studying in America discovered the true scale of the industrial asymmetry. 350,000 BARs manufactured during the war compared to Japan's total production of 94,000 light machine guns. The problem was not tactical, it was industrial. The BAR didn't just kill Japanese soldiers, it killed Japanese militarism, paving the way for a new Japan built on the very values the weapon represented: industrial efficiency, technological innovation, and mass production excellence. The transformation was complete. Warfare had evolved from warrior prowess to production capacity, and the BAR delivered this lesson in the only language war understands: overwhelming, undeniable, lethal force.